My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network, here with brand new episodes fortnightly. Make sure you're following us on the socials. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything that happens, because it's a big one this week. We are going to be talking about free dining. Yes, the Disney dining plan is back for 2025 for free. We will break it down, everything you need to know in the news later on. If you're going to be going soon, we'll give you an update on what's going on in Walt Disney World right now. And we've got some podcast guests as well, a couple of sisters who've got their own podcast. We'll chat to them very soon, and answering your questions when it comes to planning, where maybe it's right at the start of the trip, or maybe you're going in a few days' time. There's anything you need to know. If I can answer it, I'll do my best. Send me a message at PodMagical, X, Facebook, Instagram. That's where we are. Hello to Emily. Wants to know, Andy, love the podcast. We haven't yet ever been to Walt Disney World. Is it best booking through a travel agent or booking everything separately? I would say, Emily, if you've never been before, you're probably better booking everything through a travel agent, whether it be with Disney Direct, with Walt Disney World, because that's technically a travel agent here in the UK. You can book your package through them, or Virgin Holidays, or Ever After Holidays. Booking everything together, your flight and your hotel and your tickets, and maybe getting the free dining. It's just nice to have everything in one place. And sometimes a travel agent, they can get you a really good deal as well. And also, like if you're booking with Virgin Holidays, if you're booking for like next summer, if you want to book the flights for next summer, they're not on sale yet. But if you book with Virgin Holidays, your Virgin flights, they can book that as a package now. So yeah, I definitely, especially if the first time, definitely would consider booking with a travel agent. Ask them another question actually, because Suzanne wants to know, we're going to Walt Disney World next year, but we arrive on a Run Disney weekend. Any advice for avoiding the crowds? Well, take it from experience. Avoid the crowds. If the marathon or whatever it is that's on when you're there goes through the parks, definitely avoid that park for that morning. Lunchtime-ish, you should be fine. I've been during a marathon weekend and I've gone to Epcot, and the race is going through Epcot, and they manage the crowds brilliantly well. They have like a stop-go system because, the runners are coming through the park. So you've got to stop at some point and then move and try and cross. And it just takes forever to get anywhere. But then by lunchtime, when the race is kind of like coming towards an end, everything kind of opens up. It will be a busier weekend anyway because of the people that are there for the marathon. But yeah, particularly on the Sunday morning, I would say if it's the big marathon weekend, just avoid the parks. Maybe go to Disney Springs. Maybe spend some time in your hotel. Maybe even go to a water park. But yeah, if there's a marathon on and it goes through a park, definitely stay out of the way. Any questions you've got, or if you'd like to be a podcast guest, get in touch at PodMagical. On the podcast on this episode, not one, but two, and they are sisters, and they also have their own podcast. Have you listened to the duo podcast yet? Disney Universal Orlando, Amelia and Gabriella. Welcome to the most magical podcast on earth.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You are more than welcome. I've been listening to your podcast and I love it because what I loved about your podcast is you record it whilst in Disney World.
We did, yeah, on our last trip. That was so much fun, actually.
It was like being in the restaurants with you.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to invite people along.
We wanted to do that for a while because we knew that we were going on a trip, and obviously we love watching vlogs as well, and we thought, hey, we don't really listen to many podcasts when people are actually there, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, Lou Mongello does it, but he lives in Orlando. So for you from the UK to record over there, it's great. Have you got another trip coming up soon?
Well, we wish. We don't have anything booked just yet, but that doesn't always mean no. I think we're both hoping for some time at the end of this year. Our favourite time of year to go is usually the autumn time.
Yeah.
But nothing is set in stone at the moment. We've got a couple of other locations that we want to travel to before that comes. So yeah, fingers crossed really tightly. My little boy has got Boma on his vision board for this year. So I feel I've got to take him because it's one of his manifestation dreams, you know?
Now, your little boy, his name is Walter, which is the cutest name. Is he named after the Walter that we know?
Of course he is.
That is how Disney obsessed you are. You call your little boy after Walt.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's the number one dreamer, and I love like everything that Walt Disney stands for in that perspective, like the creativity, the making the magic happen. And for me, like, oh, this is really cringe, but my little boy did make magic happen for me, so it worked.
And it suits him. It's like, he is a Walter. When I've heard him on the podcast, because he does pop on every now and then. Yeah, he's definitely a Walter. So let's talk about some of your family Walt Disney World trips. When did you very, very first go?
2000. We always kind of and ah about this. 2004, I believe, because Gabby, were you 7 or was I 7?
I think you were 7. I'd like just hit secondary school, so I would have been about 11 years old.
Yeah, so I think it was around 2004, our first trip.
And what do you remember from that trip?
And my earliest memory was watching Tarzan Rocks at Animal Kingdom.
Oh, wow. You used to love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the. I really wish that they would bring that one back. The music is just so powerful in Tarzan. But then if you add roller skates to the live show, it just takes it to a whole other level. Similarly, I remember shows more than I remember rides. I remember like seeing the Blues Brothers little performance at Universal Studios and Beetlejuice for the first time.
Yeah,
I think we're like theatre kids that never really got on the theatre. So those live performances were really powerful for us.
Do you remember over at Hollywood Studios, I think this was around the same time, they had the Hunchback of Notre Dame show with the puppets?
No, I don't.
YouTube, it's on there somewhere.
Gotta check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. So what is it that you love about Walt Disney World? What is it that's made you want to go time and time again and even start your own podcast?
For me, again, like I've already mentioned, I'm like a total dreamer. I have this huge imagination. I feel really at home in environments where I can see that other people have come and created something really special, something that, you know, creates memories or changes something for other people. And so for me at Disney in particular, I feel so alive all of a sudden, and it actually sparks a lot of my creative juices as well. So I think that's like a biggie for me. I know our dad absolutely loves the USA in general and always has done, and so that's why he sort of took us the first time. But yeah, I think there's something really special about seeing like a physical embodiment of someone's wildest dreams.
So had your dad been to Disney World before he took you as a family, or had he just been to America?
Just been to the US, yeah. And when we went as a family, that was the first time that we'd all been together. And I remember like when we came back, Mum and Dad, it was maybe I can't remember, but it was maybe a few weeks after our first trip, Mum and Dad sat us down and like they had their serious faces on and they were just saying like, so we're going to go back this year. Because we loved it.
Not a problem. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
I think that my dad was going to go to Disney, I think, when he was in school. But basically, all of the parents paid for the kids to go to this trip. And the teacher who was responsible for collecting the money actually ran off with all the money.
What?
Yeah, the trip got cancelled and they couldn't go. The school like reimbursed the money, but basically the trip was cancelled. So, so there you go. Little story even you didn't know, Mel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Poor Dad.
I know. So he had this like trauma associated with Disney World. He had to get there at some point.
Maybe that's why he's made up for it since. Because your last trip was, 3 weeks long?
4.
4, sorry. 4. I underestimated that, of course. Going only for 3 weeks is ridiculous. You need to go for 4 at least.
I think a 3 week trip is like the sweet spot for our family, like when we do a whole family trip. Because normally our parents go out for a couple days, like more recently, our parents will go out for a few days before we get there. So they get there like couple time, and then we arrive, and then we have family that are based in the US or in the Dominican Republic will often come and stay with us as well.
Right.
But yeah, this last time that we went, it was just me, Millie, and Walter. And because we hadn't been me and Walter hadn't been since he was like 7 months old, we were like, right, we're going to make this a biggie. We'll do 4 weeks.
So you must be annual pass holders, I guess.
No, we're actually not. We're just crazy.
So how do you stretch 4 weeks on it's a 14-day ticket, but I think you can get 21 days out of it, can't you? If you have days off in between.
Yeah, it was what was it? It was so the first week we were there we didn't do the parks. I think because we've been so many times before, and we do have a real love for different spots in Orlando, so we knew that we could do things between that. We were there for about a week before, just enjoying Orlando. And then we did the 14-day pass, but it stretches over 16 days. Right, and that's when I got time off work as well. And then the last week we were there, it was around about the time of Black Friday and Thanksgiving, so we didn't really want to do the parks then anyway. So that's basically how we planned our time.
So where else do you go in Orlando? Have you got any other little secret spots away from theme parks?
Winter Garden is a place that we absolutely love. It's a really lovely... Have you been before, Andy?
I've never been, no. Every year I go, right, next trip we're going to go to Winter Garden, or we're going to go to Celebration, or we're going to do... And no, we never do. We wake up and we go, well, we've got a ticket, we better go to the parks. Bam. And then suddenly it's the fireworks and you go back to your hotel, go to bed, you get to do it all over again. So...
Yeah. And I understand, like, when people are on sometimes shorter trips, Winter Garden can feel a bit further out because it's about half an hour. But if you go there on a Saturday, that's when they do their market days, and the market is huge. It's just really nice vibes if you're into markets. They also have a really great brewery called Crooked Can Brewery, which is inside an indoor kind of market. So that's a really nice day, morning, afternoon out. And then, of course, Celebration, we love going there as well. So those are the two places that people tend to not visit as much. And obviously, like City Walk and other places like that we go to a lot. But yeah, definitely recommend Winter Garden or Celebration.
Winter Garden, is that where they have the original Gideons? Is that at Winter Garden?
That's at Winter Park.
Is that a different place?
Yeah, which we've also been to.
Right, okay.
I find Winter Park's quite nice as well, but I feel like it's nicer for slightly older people. There isn't that much for like the kiddos to be entertained with doing, and there's a lot of like art galleries and things like that. But yeah, that's where Gideon's is. We also, on like the last few trips, I haven't been to the Universal and Islands Park, but we have been to those in the past as well. They are really, really great days out too. I think, again, it's just with having Walter, there aren't as many things that he can do as a little one. So we tend to keep it like more Disney based, but also enjoying like the resorts as well as the theme parks. So like in that first week that we mentioned where we weren't in the theme parks, Millie was working, so it was me and Walter, and it's like, okay, so how are we going to spend the days? We don't have park tickets. And we would go to a different resort every single day, and, you know, explore the resort, do their little like kind of treasure hunt type of things, and go to their community rooms and like do arts and crafts, which is all like complimentary.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's loads of great ways to spend your time in Orlando.
So what do you do? Do you take your laptop with you and you just work for a few days?
Yeah, so when I was working, it's basically that. Like the beauty of it is being able to say, okay, Gab, you and Walter go to the parks. I'm going to go to the beach club and do my work for a few hours today. And obviously the Wi-Fi is so good in Disney. You can basically do your work from anywhere. I draw a hard line at taking my laptop into the parks. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's nice to like take them to the resorts, because the resorts, there's so much inspiration there. They're beautiful. You can treat yourself to some yummy food and a cocktail after. So luckily at the time I wasn't on a full-time schedule. It was more part-time. But on the hours I did do, just take my laptop on in with me.
It's got the image of you on Guardians trying to do a spreadsheet. That's not.
Yeah.
So where do you like to stay when you go over to Disney World? Are you people who stay on site or do you prefer off site?
I mean, in an ideal world, I'm not going to lie, I would stay on site, like in a Disney resort every single night of my trip. That said, the costs of doing that can be pretty exorbitant, especially if you are going for 4 weeks. So what we tend to do is we do a little bit of a mix. We've got a few favorite like non-Disney places. There's the Summer Bay by Exploria Resort. That's about 20 minutes, a 20-minute drive from Disney, and they have really great condos there, and like a really good vibe around the pool bar and stuff as well. Then on our last trip, my favorite and Amelia's favorite spot, I think, was somewhere where she'd stayed before and our dad had. It's the Wyndham in the Disney Springs area.
Yes, I've heard a lot about this.
Oh my God, it was fab. It was everything. The only thing that it's kind of missing from a Disney hotel is the Disney theming. But in terms of like the room, the lobby, like the pool, the bar, everything, the location, it's 6 minutes. Like I timed it from the door of the hotel to walk to enter Disney Springs. Like you just walk over one of the flyovers. So that's a really fab spot. And we've stayed in villas before, and we stayed a few nights at Pop Century on the last trip, which was amazing. We loved it. My favorite is Wilderness Lodge, though.
Same.
Especially at Christmas.
Yeah.
Those views are out of this world.
Back with our podcast guests in just a moment. Let's do a quick break for the news. There is only one story I'd like to talk about on the news today, and that is free dining. Yes, free dining for 2025. I'm talking about the Disney dining plan for free. It's back. It's the question I've been asked for the last 4 years. Is it coming back? Will it ever come back? I always knew it would, and I always thought it would be for next year, because I think Disney are going to want those people staying in their hotels rather than staying over at Universal with what's going on over there. So I think that's why they're enticing people to stay back at Disney. So if you book between the 18th of April this year, as in a couple of weeks, and the 7th of November, you've got to stay a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 27 nights. Then you could be getting the free dining plan. You have to stay on property. Depending where you stay is depending on what kind of dining plan you are going to get. So let's break it down. I can't give you prices on this because they're not on sale yet, but this is what I can tell you. If you are staying at a value hotel, so a value hotel would be one of the All-Stars resorts. You get a quick service meal, which is one quick service meal and one drink. That is all you get, okay? If you're staying at a moderate hotel, which would be a Caribbean Beach or Port Orleans French Quarter, that's where you get the quick service dining plan. So that's the actual quick service dining plan is what you get in there, which is 2 quick service meals, you get 1 snack, and you get a specialty drink, which comes with each meal. If you're staying at one of the deluxe hotels, so Animal Kingdom Lodge or Contemporary or Boardwalk or somewhere like that, you are getting the Disney dining plan, which gets you 1 quick service meal, 1 table service meal, 1 snack, and then you get 1 drink with each of the meals as well. So obviously, the more you're paying for your hotel, the better dining plan you are going to get. If you want to go for the full-on dining plan, if you want to go to Chef Art Smith's Homecommin for 14 times during your 14-night trip, which I would, then you're going to need to stay at a deluxe. Probably the cheapest deluxe you'd be staying at, you'd be looking at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. How much you're going to be paying for that, I don't know. But just remember this. Will you want everything that's on that dining plan? Are there 14 restaurants you want to go to? At those 14 restaurants, will you want a meal and a dessert and a drink? If so, if that's what you want, then the dining plan is for you. You're probably going to be paying more for the package, even though the dining plan is technically free. I would have a look now before the dining plans go on sale, just to have a look how much everything is. And then when the dining plans go back on sale, maybe you want to get in touch with your travel agent or whatever and go, well, look, I saw this for this price, but now it's like £1,000 more. Am I really going to spend £1,000 on food? Just do the maths first, but that's what you are getting. It's for bookings that, as I say, open from the 18th of April, and you need to be staying between the 7th of January and the 17th of December next year. Free Disney dining and drinks is back. And of course, you need to book your ticket as well, but you're getting the 14 days for 7, and you're getting the photo pass and stuff like that including. And there's a little bit more on there as well. You get like a £300 off on some of the bookings as well. So have a look at that. It's on sale soon. On this episode of the podcast, Amelia and Gabriella, let's talk about some of your favourite Walt Disney World things. Let's go in with food. You must have some favourite restaurants between you.
I know that easily both of us would say Boma. Yeah. Boma for breakfast or for dinner, but our preference is just about breakfast over dinner because I think the value is way stronger for breakfast there. But whether you're going for breakfast or dinner at Boma, you're going to have one of the best meals on property. That's number one.
Do they have zebra domes at breakfast? Because if they do, I'm sold.
No.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one. They don't technically, but we have asked before just out of cheekiness, and twice they appeared with zebra domes.
Oh, yes, the Disney magic.
So kind of get the vibe of the cast member.
Yeah, a nice smile and an English accent sometimes can get you a long way.
Oh, yeah.
I also really rate as well, what's it called, Mel, that the place at Yacht Club for the breakfast?
Ale and Compass. That's
I never remember the name of it, but Ale and Compass is a really great, good value breakfast. And the breakfast items that you can choose, you kind of choose like off an a la carte menu, but then you can add on. They've got like a bit of a buffet as well. All of their a la carte options have got something unique about them. It's not just like your bog standard nice breakfast. It's like there's like crab cakes and like things like that that's really delicious. And yeah, the price is always, I always feel like, oh, that was probably one of the best value meals I've bought on this trip.
Yeah, because it's something like, I think the priciest dish is maybe $18, but that comes with the full buffet that they have as well, which has, it's not just a few continental items. They've got a really nice spread as well. So yeah, super good value for breakfast that people don't tend to notice too much.
And you can really stock up on breakfast. You can go for a buffet breakfast and then I can do you for like, then you only need like another meal later on in the day. Well, I can anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. And so many times I've like, you know, at the breakfast, I'm going to sound like a complete pig now, but like at the breakfast buffet, so many times I've like taken one or two extra pastries than I thought I was going to. I know, I've been that girl and I've been like, oh, I didn't eat them. I'm going to fold it up and that's my snack.
Yeah,
that's
wrap it in a napkin. Thinking that nobody can see you sticking it in your handbag. We know what you're doing.
Literally like swiping the entire like ham into my handbag.
Rocking up with a massive cool box going, no, this is just for later. This is not for me. Anywhere else on your list of favourite restaurants?
We had a really good, what was the charcuterie that was like on a string on like a washing line at
it was in Territory Lounge.
Yeah.
The lounge in Wilderness Lodge, again, really good value. I would say that it's probably more of a share for 3 or 4. That didn't stop us from getting through all of the mounts of cheese and meat. But that's a really nice cozy spot that tends to get looked over a lot, just tucked away next to is it still called Artist Point? Sorry.
Yeah, where the Snow White one is.
Yes, yeah. Just next to there. That's a great spot. I'm thinking of the Homecommin. We loved Homecommin.
My favourite.
Yeah. And the moonshine flight at Homecommin was like, that was my favourite drink. I'm going to call it a drink, even though there was 5 drinks on it. That was my favourite drink item. Homecommin was great. And I think when we mentioned the Territory Lounge, that was something on this last trip. Like, I've never really done the lounges before. I always thought that like quick service locations were like one of the best kept kind of it's not really a secret, but you know, a lot of people, if they haven't been before, they'll think, how good can quick service really be? But obviously you get there and it's amazing. But on this last trip, I was like, oh my God, I've really been missing a trick with not going to the lounges, because they've got we had this really great escargot as well at the
Topolino Terrace at Riviera
lounge, and that was amazing as well.
And you can order off, like, if the lounge is next to the main restaurant, often it's the same menu. So rather than sitting down and having a big 3-course meal, you can have just like a few little nibbles and you don't feel as bad. A few appetizers, a few cocktails.
That's genius. Especially for like California Grill, for example, because for me at California Grill, one of my favorite menu items there was the goat's cheese ravioli, which is just an appetizer. But if you book a table at California Grill, you're not going to just have an appetizer. It feels a bit, I don't know, it feels a bit tight, really. Whereas in the bar, in the lounge area, there's no problem with just ordering your appetizer and a drink.
Yeah.
So definitely good shout on that.
And it's a set menu as well, isn't it, at California Grill? So it's like the best part of like $100 each. But if you can sit at the bar and time it for the fireworks, obviously. What about your favourite attractions? Are they the same ones, or do you have different favourites?
Mine is now what Walter, my little boy, calls Guardian Sea of the Galaxy. Guardian Sea of the Galaxy is, when I went on that this time, I was just like, that ride is just something else. Like, I love the spinning. I'm really into spinning, and I love the music. We had One Way or Another, and we had, was it Disco Inferno?
I had that one.
Oh, and like I love disco music, and so when that came on, I was just like, this is the best ride ever.
Amelia, is that your favourite attraction as well?
It's not. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. However, my favourite has always been Expedition Everest. It's never let me down. The only thing about Guardians of the Galaxy that doesn't make it my favorite is that there's like no dips, whereas Expedition Everest has those like crazy dips, which just that gets my adrenaline pumping. So it's always that one, and closely followed by Flight of Passage. That ride makes me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that again one time with my contact lenses in, because I did it on the last trip, and I didn't have I know that sounds like such a niche problem, but I think I wasn't feeling so great, so I didn't have my contacts in. I had my specs on, and then obviously, you know, you're going to put your 3D glasses on, so I took my glasses off. And I could not see anything. Like, honestly, I forget how blind I am sometimes.
It's just blurred.
Yeah, it was. I came off it like that was nothing. That was nothing to me.
Have you picked up some good tips during your journeys? What will be your top tips for people that people get wrong, or maybe that you've learned yourselves over the years?
Plan. My number one is make a plan. Make a very detailed, meticulous plan, and then when you arrive, kind of don't do the plan. Like, wing it a little bit. Like, you know, the for me, one of the best parts about going on an Orlando vacation is that there are so many options of so many different things to do. If you don't put them in a plan, then you miss out on that like exciting, dreaming, fantasizing side of things.
Yeah.
And you can come back thinking like, oh God, I missed such and such a thing that I didn't even know existed. If you plan like a good few months in advance, and in some cases like a year or more in advance through watching blogs and podcasts, etc., then you stand a better chance of, when you're actually there, making the right decisions that ensure that you don't miss out on those things. But you don't want to be so rigid and stuck to the plan that, you know, you become a bit militant about it.
Yeah, that takes away the fun, doesn't it?
All your friends and family.
Yeah, I think I would say don't underestimate, or don't what's the right word? Don't ignore the possibilities that can be found from resort hopping. And what I mean by that is, you know, resort hopping can be, we love resort hopping. We think it's such an amazing part of Walt Disney World and the whole experience. And yet people still often think it's just the parks and it's Disney Springs and the shopping and blah, blah, blah. But there's so much to do for kids at the resorts. There was one day when we went to Animal Kingdom Lodge and I had to do a little bit of work. So Gabbi homeschools Walter. So she was kind of taking him down to the outdoor savannah area and teaching him about the animals, because they have cast members and they have different things to learn learn. Inside the lobby, they also have different free activities for kids, all of this stuff that's going on. And along with that, some of the best restaurants, best places to eat are going to be at the resort hotels. So definitely integrate resort hopping into your plan, because it's free unless you sit down for food and go shopping.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. We love it so much.
It's funny, the first few times that I've gone resort hopping, like, because I wanted to see Animal Kingdom Lodge, but I felt a bit intimidated because I thought, well, I'm not staying here. Am I allowed to be here? But of course, yeah, you are, because they want you in there, you know, going to the quick service or going to the shops or sitting down for a meal. So yeah, definitely look around the resorts.
Yeah, that's like an England thing, isn't it? Where like it sounds weird to us. Like I wouldn't just go to a hotel in the UK and just wander around.
Yeah,
like sounds like a really odd thing to do, but I think at Disney World it is part of the offer of the whole resort is for you to have those spots you can go to. The only things that you can't do are the things that are very, very obviously, you know, if you go on the lift in one of the resorts, it'll say like, you know, you can only click for concierge level if you've got a door pass. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I mean, we did try it out of curiosity,
but didn't work.
But it didn't work. And the same like with the pools as well. Like you can't usually access the pools without having a key card or a magic band. But that doesn't mean that you can't access like the little beach areas that they have. Where, you know, you can nip to the beach bar and enjoy it that way. So yeah, just be bold, be brave.
Go for it. If you had your perfect day at Walt Disney World, your perfect 24 hours, it's not your only day at Disney World, because we know you go for 4 weeks at a time, but your ideal day, what would it be? Where would you stay? What would you do? Where would you eat?
You know, this, as you were saying that, I was like, this is going to make me sound like a bit of a mean mummy, right? But if it's not my only day, but it's my ideal 24 hours, I would firstly make it like a real grown-ups day, and I wouldn't have Walter with me on this day.
Oh, bless him.
I know, because the last couple of trips he has been like with me permanently for the whole time. I think I would stay at the yacht club because I've never stayed there before. And it feels like quite a grown-up sort of resort. I would do food and wine festival like pretty much all day at Epcot, like from morning, like from when those booths first open at like about 10:30, 11 a.m. until right the way until like the end of the day. And I would also be staying concierge level at the yacht club, because I've never done that before, and I really want to I want to get in on that buffet that's included.
You want to be bougie.
It's all the food. Oh my God, I'm such like a greedy, mean mum.
So that would be your day, just basically eating in concierge.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Pretty much. And I would dress fancy. I would dress fancy for the whole day, because I know that I'm not going to get like Walter's ice cream all over my outfit.
No chocolate handprints all over you. Amelia, would you do the same? Would it be a resort day for you, your perfect day at Disney World, or would you be in the parks?
Yeah, I was going to say similar to Gabby, except I'd be staying at the Grand Floridian, and I don't think I'd do food and wine all day. I think what I would do is one of those special tours where someone can like get you to the front of the queue and they tell you different secrets. I can't remember what that's called, but I'd do one of them with the fam. And then towards the afternoon, me and Gabby would go to Victoria and Albert's while mum and dad can hang out with Walter in a really nice kid-friendly restaurant elsewhere. But that's how we would end the evening. We'd do like a really nice Victoria and Albert's bucket list meal, which we are still yet to do.
Yeah, it's a bit pricey, isn't it? And you need a jacket for the men. You must take a blazer with you.
It's like you can't wear like trainers or anything like that, I don't think, but it would suit for my fancy outfit day.
What is your favourite Walt Disney World memory from the times you've been? That one treasured happy moment that you hold in your heart from Walt Disney World?
For me, I know what it is because we've got a photograph. I've got a photograph of the moment. I wonder if Amelia.
Yeah, but I know what the moment is. Can I guess what your moment?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Is it at California Grill watching the fireworks when you were pregnant and like Dad had his arm around you?
Oh, no, you know what? But that is one of my favorites. And you and Mum were standing in front, and I've got a picture of that moment. But no, very close. It was on my first trek with Walter. There's a picture of him, like we were sitting on the grass out front of the little viewing area for the dessert parties where you can like view the fireworks. We were sitting there, but it was in the daytime. We'd found like a nice quiet spot. He was sort of crawling towards the castle, and we've got a picture of him doing that. And I was just sitting there and feeling so content that, like, I think every time that I go to Disney, I always feel like, oh, I've made it. Like I'm here. And I really felt like, oh my God, like I've brought my little boy, like my little tiny boy, on this trip with me, and we're making memories.
Yeah.
I think we had just had a big ice cream sandwich, so it's probably like from Plaza, so it's like a sugar rush kind of sugar high moment as well. But that was just really special.
Mine was probably the first trip we took after like the recession in the UK, where everybody had some kind of dark years of vacations around then. And I remember we took the bus, what was the Magical Express. We took that from the airport to the resort. And I remember like getting really emotional because we'd worked so hard Mum and Dad had worked so hard for us to get back on a trip after, the economic crash in the UK during those years. And yeah, I remember that was it's just encompassing, like whenever you go, it's a representation of really hard work for a lot of people to find the way to get there. So yeah, that's a memorable moment for me.
We always find a way. Been great chatting to you on the podcast. Before you go, let us know where we can find you, because there are a lot more stories from you girls. Where's your podcast?
You can find us on Instagram at the.duo podcast, or you can listen to our podcast, The Duo Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. How many times can I say podcast in one sentence?
On a podcast.
We've also got a really great guide as well. It's a freebie for anyone that would like to download it. What's the name of it, Mel?
9 low-cost or no-cost ways to experience the magic of Walt Disney World outside of the parks. So it's a free guide, and it's just telling you all the ways to keep your costs low while just experiencing the magic and not even having to go into the parks to do so. So we will share that with you. I
love that. And it's been great talking to you, and have a magical day.
Thank you.
If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, give me a shout. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, at Podmagical. Give us a like, give us a follow. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. New episodes out every other week. If you could give us a rating, a 5-star rating, that really helps as well. And it's not just one of those things that I'm saying. It really does help. All you need to do, scroll down to the bottom of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, just hit 5 stars. That's it. Thanks if you've done that. If you're going to go to Walt Disney World over the next few weeks, please take us with you. The weather looks really good, actually. We're high 20s, 30 degrees. Some showers around, but it doesn't look like there's too many. Pound to dollar, been hovering around that 1.27 for a while. Price of Genie Plus. Well, we've been in spring break and Easter holidays the last few weeks, so the multi-park and the Magic Kingdom has been around $39 a day. Some of those individual prices, the most expensive one you're going to be paying is for Rise, Star Wars Rise of Resistance, which is about $25. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train's been around $12. We still have concerts going on. The Garden Rocks at Epcot, part of the Flower and Garden Festival, which is on for the next couple of months. I'm not really sure of any of the people who are performing over the next few weeks. I know Flock of Seagulls are on. Yeah, from the song from Guardians. They're on the 14th to the 15th. Plain White Tees are going to be on. Starship on towards the end of April. Also some live concerts at SeaWorld as well, part of the Seven Seas Food Festival. In fact, this weekend they've got Owl City. And in a couple of weeks, Gavin DeGraw, Jason Derulo, Ludacris on at SeaWorld. And we have a top tip for this episode. I always like to end the episode on a top tip. Today's top tip, take this one with you. Rope drop water parks. It's something you never think of, but the water parks get just as busy as the theme parks. If you want a good spot, you want a good sun lounger, you want to get there before all the rides get really busy, then get there as soon as it opens. It seems like a silly thing and an obvious thing to say, but you forget about it. You think about rope dropping the parks, but not the water parks. Top tip for this episode, rope drop the water parks. Have yourself a nice morning there. Have a chill morning there, maybe at the parks later on. Don't forget to subscribe. We're back in 2 weeks with a brand new podcast, and we'll have more of the dining plan. We'll be able to dig a little deeper on dining plan next time, because all the prices will be out. Until then, please. Stand clear of the doors.